Vulpes.
Welcome to Ludus Vulpes. My name's Kirsty.
Oh. Yeah, I'm Phil.
You join us as we run through our initial thoughts of
Dive. You join us on a tropical beach as we're about to witness 4 young individuals pass through a rite of passage and recover the sacred stone from their village. You join us on this wonderful tropical beach, the wind blowing gently through the air. Oh, taking my hat off!
Oh no.
It's okay, I can do this. Okay, it's time to talk about dive.
Good luck.
Yeah, I can't do this.
I think your beach hat looks good.
Let's get back onto the beach. Dive is a staggeringly beautiful game. I think it's the only way to describe it.
Yeah.
Staggeringly beautiful.
Unusual.
Yeah, definitely unusual. Clear cards have been done before, and viewing items between cards have been done before, but this is taking it into a slightly different direction. So that's quite nice. In Dive, you play one of the young people championing their village to recover the stone thrown in by the tribal elder. For those of you who are doing this at swimming baths and the brick thing down to the bottom, this is
far more exciting.
This is different. There's sharks in this. Anyway, before we begin, shall we go through setup?
I think we should.
Okay.
However, with this setup, we're going to do it slightly differently because we're going to show you how wonderful this lovely, lovely box is.
Yeah, sure.
Honestly, it's been so well thought out.
Yeah, I've not seen an insert as good as this before.
No, I shouldn't get this excited, but I am excited about the insert.
Okay, so follow us down here to have a look at how Dive sets up.
So we've got the box out on the table and off comes the lid. In there we'll find some leaflets and a few bits and pieces and rules and things, so they'll come off the top of the box. And then you'll take the dive board out and place it off to one side. Next will come the player screens. In a 2-player game we're going to be using 2 of the 4-player screens. Once they're out comes the ocean in the form of perspex screens already set up and ready to go. Each player gets a diver now, this one demonstrated by Kirsty, thank you. And everyone then gets a little diver meeple, which gets placed on the dive board. And then each person gets a shell in the same colour as a diver just to remind them which diver they are. And the final piece of setup comes in the form of the dive tokens. Each of these are labelled 1 to 5 for each player. There is a shark side and there is in fact a non-shark side. But as long as you've got a set of numbers 1 to 5 for each player, you're done.
And we're done.
Ta-da!
So, that's Dive set up. This might be one of the most beautiful inserts ever. Everything's stacked neatly inside. You've got little animal companions inside the box.
And marked.
Yeah, and if you're going to play with the animal companions, which is absolutely not necessary, but
so
can be a little bit of fun, you'll give each player will select one from the box, and then the box will be put to one side. And that is Dive set up. That's as straightforward as it gets.
Yeah.
Ultimately, we'll move this a little bit closer to us so that we can see straight down. Why should we be able to see straight down, I hear you ask? Well, because each of these transparent layers represents another layer of the ocean that we're diving through.
As you can see, each layer, if we put it on the white, has wildlife on. And
what we'll be doing, we'll be diving down this deck of tiles.
I'm not going to give them a shuffle.
We will give them a shuffle before we actually play. And as you can see, they layer up, and you're trying to predict what happens in the next maximum 5 layers of the ocean. So that's how the game will play. Kirsty, what's your initial thoughts?
So, I actually chose this game as one of the new releases for us to look at, and I am so pleased that I did. It's so pretty. It's all the artwork is beautiful, even things just like the shields, that the screens, that so as you play, you hide
what you're
going to be doing, behind each one of these, and it's not just the same generic artwork. Each one is individual.
Different, yeah.
The artwork on the boards, each player is a different I think it's a family member, isn't it?
Yeah, sure.
There's a male, female, and then a younger male and female, like a little family. So that you know who's where. So when you're doing your programming, in front of each shield you have a shell which shows where you are. So for example, if I was ahead here and Phil was like, I need to catch up, I'm going to be a bit more careful, or I'm going to try and use the ray. He knows, like if we were in a 4-player, he'd remember who's who.
I just remember my colour anyway.
Yeah, okay, but it's easier with 2. The component quality in this game is, in my opinion, off the charts.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome to be fair.
It's so well thought out. To start off with, there was a lot of punching and holes and setup, but after that first initial setup, they've clearly thought that they want it to be a quick and easy game for people to be able to put out on the table and get playing as quickly as possible.
And they've succeeded, absolutely, 100%
definitely.
Success.
It's such a lovely novel idea of the guessing, the layering and what's on, and plus with the bonuses with the turtles and the manta ray as well. They're just little ones that someone can be in advance, but then actually like slightly push ahead by using the extras, the turtles and the ray. I don't think I have anything negative so far to say about this game, but one thing that they do say, which I actually think makes it a little bit harder, is that you can actually put a light beneath and shine the light through, but I'm not always confident that that's the best thing to do. So I think it actually depends on your surroundings, what time of day you're playing.
There are variants in the book, and you can play with those variants, or including things like putting a phone camera underneath it to shine a light through it, stuff like that. But it's up to you how you play the game. Actually, I think I've not played a game where I've not had enough light to see through the tile. So you make your own choices. For me, it's an interesting game. My initial thoughts was more gimmick than game. There's not a stack of game here. There's not a huge amount to think about or to do on your turn. The decision is basically, is there a shark on the layer that on layer number 1? If there is, you put the shark token face up. If there isn't, you put the non-shark token face up. Is there a shark on the layer below? And you do the same up to a maximum of 5 layers. Obviously, it gets harder and harder to predict as you go down. That's the key and critical decision you're making every time you play the game. And at first, I was like, do you know what? There's just not enough game here to keep me interested and to keep me occupied. But actually, you need to sort of readjust how you're playing the game. It's not about this deep tactical level. There is an element of like manipulating how you dive to get to space 23 on this dive board. But fundamentally, the game's fun. Yeah. Like the game's about it's that kind of idea of being in tropical paradise, diving down into the waters and dodging sharks. I'm not sure the dodging shark thing's actually that much fun, but
you get to see beautiful wildlife.
And fundamentally, the game plays very quickly, never outstays its welcome, and you're grinning most of the time. Even when you make a mistake, it's kind of just fun. So, would I recommend this game for people after my initial 2 or 3 plays? Look, you're going to be able to get it to the table really quickly. You're going to be able to teach it with a couple of fiddly bits. The programming is a little bit fiddly because you can stack these tokens for an increased value, but the value only happens if you have a little bit of a clash with an opponent, and then it's a higher value that wins out. So on this tile, for example, we have a green turtle. A green turtle boosts your dive. You grab hold of its flipper and it helps you go down faster.
Yeah.
I'm sure that's how turtles work.
Obviously.
Obviously. So if you want to get an advantage of that turtle, you need, at that dive level, to have the highest value on your tokens.
It's almost like a slight gamble, isn't it?
Yeah, so you might stack 9 there on your first space. And if your opponent stacks less than 9, you'll get this turtle boost. But by doing that, you're only going down a maximum of 4 levels anyway on your dive board. So you're losing the potential to go down 1 level, if that makes sense.
But you're safely going down 1 level.
But these numbers, other than that, mean nothing.
No.
And I think when you first look at the game, people think, "Oh my God, these numbers! Like, there's an order to." No, they're not order. They are just there. If it wasn't for the turtles, and there's a manta ray as well, which allows you to do some catching up. If it wasn't for those, this could be blue and that could be shark without the numbers on. And that's almost how you need to teach it. The first decision is not shark, shark.
Yeah.
And that's all. And then the numbers only come into play when you've got a benefit tile, so either a turtle or a manta ray, and then it's a player with the highest number on that level that will take the advantage. And I think it's just worth, when you talk through it with your players, to just say, look, the decision is shark or not shark. After that, it's about the value only comes when you feel like you might be clashing with somebody else.
It sounds so obvious now, but when we were first looking at the game, I could not get my head around how, as like Phil said, the numbers worked. And the only way I could see was him to do an example round for me.
Yeah.
And actually, that's okay if that's the easiest way to teach people.
It's not hard to
show
reset.
People.
To be fair.
Yeah, it like takes 2 seconds, but just to do a point and do an example round for yourself.
So this is a great game to play with kids. It's a great game to play with adults who are that way inclined, who want something light and fun and a bit silly at times. It's not a game to play with people who want to have a serious gaming experience. But that actually, you know what, that's fine, because not everyone wants those serious gaming experiences. This one is about having a little bit of fun around a table.
Yeah, it's different.
This isn't going to the pub and drinking pints.
No.
When you're playing this game, you need a pina colada, minimum, or a strawberry daiquiri. That's what you're drinking.
Yeah, exactly. Cocktails.
Non-alcoholic versions of these cocktails are available. And that's what you need to be drinking. Shirt on or shirt off is entirely up to you, although at most pubs that is frowned upon. So
it also depends what you've got underneath as well.
True. So, as far as I'm concerned, this is a game that's easy to recommend for families. It's easy to recommend for game groups where actually fun outweighs game, and actually it's kind of the people who enjoy games like Looney Quest will really enjoy this as well. So that's your target audience for this game. It's not massively expensive, and given the production values, it's actually, I think it's great value.
It's very reasonable.
Yeah. So if that kind of thing interests you, go out and grab a copy, because it is well worth it.
Definitely.
It is a little bit more than just a gimmick. There is enough game there to keep you going time and time again.
Definitely.
So if you've enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe, drop the notifications and press the notification button so that you get notifications of videos as we release them.
Don't forget, you can also follow us on Instagram, Facebook and Twitter. Just search Ludus Vulpes.
Thank you for your time today.
Thanks everyone. See you soon.
Bye bye.
Bye.